Welcome back to the JFP pod. Today marks our 10th video, our 10th podcast. So we're excited to have Kenan Cain on from the Killa Bees up in Fargo. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here, guys.
Yeah, of
Man,
course.
we're excited to have you guys representing. And I know we talked to Morgan, and we're going to have her on here and talk about her experience. But we want to talk to you and kind of get your paintball story and how you got started into paintball. So I guess that's going to be our first question is how did you get into playing paintball? What was your first experience?
Yeah, actually, I have a little bit of a family history of it. So my dad grew up playing paintball. He played in the 90s and then the early 2000s as well. Played a lot of, I believe it was I think he played PSB quite a bit. And then the early NXL as well. So that was super cool. I was actually at the first World Cup that Dynasty won when I was a newborn. So that was my first paintball memory. So I got started off pretty early. They got me a jersey for their team back in the day when I was like 2 or 3. So there's pictures of me running around with that on and kind of got started that way. And then I think I played for real the first time when I was probably 10 or 11, maybe 12. We used to dink around in the backyard quite a bit. I had some trees and stuff and shoot at my dad and get shot at. And then first real play, we had some property up probably 30 minutes out of town. And my dad and a couple of his buddies came up who had their own gear, and they let me kind of hop in with those guys. And I was terrified out of my mind because I had not actually really played before. Mm-hmm. I could hold the gun and all that, but I was like, now that I'm in the woods by myself, this is horrifying. Just standing there trying to see through my fogged up goggles, and I just got lit up. Like a whole side of my body. Dude just ramped into me. And I was like, well, I hate paintball. So yeah, that was my initiation into it. And then probably a year after that, I started going out to the local field with my dad, playing out there a little bit. Now that my fear factor wore off a little bit after that amount of time.
Hell yeah. Were you guys out playing speedball or were you guys just playing rec ball?
Just rec ball. We were playing woods ball for the most part.
Okay.
The local field was all woods and a bunch of random trash and cars and boats. And just
right.
It was a crazy place actually. Kind of disgusting that I'm thinking about it, but looking back at the memories, it is not the cleanest of fields.
Right.
Actually, crazy story. Sorry, I gotta tell this. I forgot.
You're good.
That field used to be a walk-in zoo or some kind of zoo, right? And the owner was running drugs through it, and then he got shut down and came back from jail and started a paintball field. So there's yeah. There's still weird animals running around. They had a peacock. They had this big bird. It was some kind of white bird. I don't remember what it was, but they told you to shoot it because if you didn't, it would attack you. It's crazy.
Oh my god.
Where was this at?
Panama City, Florida.
Panama City, Florida. Do you know if the field is still there? I kind of doubt it,
Dude,
but I'm curious.
It is. The field itself, I think is still there, but it's been closed for years. I think it's a used tire shop out front now.
Damn.
Yeah. Wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a wild place. Yeah. The owner also had a herd of goats that he would run through. No mask or anything. He'd just walk through the field while the games are going. This herd. Crazy. Something wrong with that guy.
So then when did you start playing speedball then?
I started playing tournament paintball probably 2020. So beginning of college for me, when I was probably 19. Me and my cousin, my college roommate and his cousin, we all drove up from Pensacola, Florida, all the way up to where was that? Athens, Alabama, for the Alabama X-Ball League. Mm-hmm. We played in a little 3-man there for our first one. It's kind of what got me into the tournament scene.
Hell yeah. How'd you guys do?
We got second.
Hell yeah.
We lost to a D5 team, so we considered that we got ourselves first, but whatever.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. Craziest thing, I bounced the last guy on the mask, and he shot me.
Damn.
What?
Yes. I was like, well,
flexes or what?
Dude, I don't know what he was wearing, but it bounced right off, and he cooked hooked me.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I know you played for unaffiliated
Yeah.
for a couple years, and then I don't know the exact story. Maybe you can walk me through it, but you went up to Fargo, or you live in Fargo now ish, and now I don't know when the Killa Bees became a thing, but you want to walk us through that real quick?
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in Florida originally, playing down there from 2020 up until about 2022, 2023 when I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in Fargo since then, and I played with unaffiliated first. I was out at Annandale one weekend, and they were there, and they invited me to play with them, and started playing with those guys for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Just said, and then most of that team it felt like it disintegrated a little bit. We stopped playing as often and didn't really practice really ever.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think JFP was part of that, right? You guys kind of split off.
Yeah, we were an umbrella team, so I kind of told Josh, was like, hey, I kind of want to do a 3-man like JFP, like and run. I wanted to run with that and be like an umbrella team under unaffiliated. And then what happened was I have no hard feelings or no ill will towards Josh, but he just kind of like disappeared. And
That's
then
kind of what it felt
he
like to
came
me too.
back. He came back. He wanted to take the players from JFP and put them back on an unaffiliated and go down to EXL. I was trying to. I don't know if I told him this, or I was telling the other guys. It's like, if you just go down to EXL and expect to get good results without practicing, it's a recipe for disaster, and it's gonna kill morale.
Not a fun event at all if you go like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And so once he saw that he wouldn't be able to get the guys from JFP on unaffiliated, he just kind of disappeared and didn't show up for anything.
Pretty strange. Yeah, I haven't talked to Josh in a long time. Yeah.
But yeah,
But
want to
yeah.
see how Killa Bees was, how that happened, how that started up.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember if you guys. I think some of you guys came over for the indoor field that popped up in Fargo.
Yep.
Like a year or two ago. So I started playing there a ton, right? Because it's here. I'm not gonna travel to Annandale every weekend,
Right.
and I could play during the winter here. So I started playing there pretty regularly, just kind of by myself. I didn't know anybody there, so I just kind of went consistently, and then met a couple dudes who were playing pretty regularly. I saw them there like every time I went, so we were playing quite a bit. We were talking about trying to play a 3-man tournament or out at Annandale or something. And then I met Junior, who actually is the owner of Killer Bees. He had started it. He had been talking to some of the workers there and some of the other players that I didn't know as well. But he was like, hey, like, would you guys want to come play like some 5-man events or some like NXL events with us with the Killer Bees? And I was like, I mean, maybe, but I was talking about playing with these guys already, and I've already been playing with unaffiliated for a while. And he goes, well, what if the events were paid for? Would you play? And I was like, yeah, sign me up. So so they weren't 100% paid for, but like the difference between how much I was spending before and then on that, huge difference. And then I got to know those guys really well. We started practicing like every week out there as a team, just kind of playing around against each other mostly because there really wasn't a lot of people out there. So that was super fun. I was already D4 by then, and all of those guys were beginner or D5. So I actually didn't get to play with them really at all in any of the 3-man events. So I was more as a coaching aspect or just kind of watching or not going to those events, which sucked. So last year I literally played no events at all except for World Cup, which was rough because I didn't get to practice all year and then had to go to World Cup and got my butt kicked.
Ooh.
So
Oh man.
yeah, so that was kind of sucky, but now that everyone's ranked up high enough, we actually have a D4 squad and I get to play again. So I'm hyped for this year.
Hell yeah, there you go.
Hell yeah.
Get to step on the field again finally. But yeah, that's pretty much the story. I know Morgan will have a different version of that when you guys have her on. She had known Junior a lot longer than I had, so some good insight into that.
Do you guys know what tournaments you're playing this year?
We have a general idea, but we haven't made any like 100% for sure decisions. But I know we're playing, I think, all the Annandale events if we can get enough D4 teams to sign up. Yeah. So we'll have a D4 and maybe a D5 squad for those, depending on how many people are available.
Mhm.
And then we were talking about going down to EXL for their like 3-man X-ball stuff.
Oh yeah.
Again, kind of playing the 3-man side of things for right now just because it's cheaper. But
Oh yeah.
Right.
they have some. That'd be fun running X-ball again. I haven't played X-ball in a couple years.
Yeah,
Literally the
especially as
most fun
3-man.
version of paintball. Yeah, 3-man, so fun, dude. So we're hoping to do some of that, and then I think there's a group of us going to the Cincinnati NXL event again. And then we're gonna most likely go to World Cup again, if I had to guess, at the end of the year. Depending on how much practice we get before that. 'Cause if we're not able to get some solid practice in, I don't think we're gonna go.
Right.
It's not worth traveling there to just get beat up on because you're not able to get any reps in.
Right. All that money spent.
Yeah. I mean,
get you.
this past year, it was super fun, don't get me wrong, because we played a ton of paintball, but we just did not perform super well. We didn't really get a chance to practice, and that one time we did was at Annandale, where it was like freezing cold and the paint was awful.
Oh,
It was just
yeah.
flamethrowers.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not learning anything.
You're
So,
learning
it
new
wasn't
ways you can chop paint.
Sometimes
Right?
at that point, all that matters is just having fun, doing what you can, coming up with stupid plays, and just trying to have fun out there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it turned into, which was really fun, but it did not transfer very well over to the event. Like, weren't able to practice the lanes very well because you get like 3 balls out of your gun before it stops shooting. So it wasn't the most productive event, but we played. A couple of us played the 1v1 like joust because they had that there. That was the most fun I've had in a long time. And then we played 5-man, and then on Sunday, since we got knocked out, we played 3-man. So we just played a ton of paintball. Which
Man,
was
that
awesome.
sounds like a lot of paintball.
Yeah.
Holy. And I know that's kind of during the winter time, and it's kind of leading to my question is during the winter time, what exactly do you do to keep your game going for paintball?
Yeah.
What do you do during the off season?
That is a good question. The past couple years, if I ever have any warm days, I have so much extra paint from just playing throughout the summers that I'll go out into the back. I actually live on the edge of town, so like the river diverges behind me, and it's just a big field after that. So I'll go out there
Nice.
and practice my snap shooting and all that whenever I get a chance.
Hell yeah.
And then the shields here in town will fill your tank for you for like $5, which is, I mean, not great, but it's kind of nice.
I mean, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better
something.
than nothing, dude.
Right.
So I'll get a little bit of reps here and there as the weather allows. And then I travel back home to Florida pretty often. So pretty much every time I go home, I'll play there, whether tournament wise or just for fun. I'll go out to one of the local fields and get some reps in the blazing hot heat.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
With you traveling, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm asking a lot of questions and I'm not giving Randy a chance. To
You're
But-
good, dude.
No,
You're
you're
good.
good. You're good.
on just going back to back. But do you travel with your gear, or do you have do you have your own set back in Florida?
I travel with my gear. So I have that. I've got a big old like I think it's a Explorer bag or something like that. It's like I got wheels and a handle, just huge. So I'll stuff all my gear in there. I'll drain my tank and then pop the rig off, and then I'll just fly with it when I go home.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask if you have to do anything in particular for people who are interested in flying with their paintball gear. What do they have to do? I know that you gotta degas your tank and then take the regulator off. Is there anything else you have to do?
As far as I know, no. That's all I ever do, and I haven't had any issues with it. I'll just pop the tank off and drain it and take the reg off. The one thing I do is I'll put the tank close to the top or close to like the zipper so that when they open it to look at it, they can just see that straight off the bat and they don't have to dig through all my crap to find it.
Oh yeah.
Which that helps a little bit. And then I always tell them it's like sporting equipment or something, and they'll try to get it to your destination a little bit with more speed, I guess. Yeah, they don't really care as much if it's just luggage, but if you tell them you need it, they're a little bit more likely to see it when you get there.
Oh yeah.
Man, they're not
Right.
easy with those bags either.
No.
I would not trust it being straight on top. I would have to pack stuff around it, make sure that it's secure.
Yeah, it's actually very fair. Very fair. I do always cover the the open end of the tank once the reg's off. I'll throw a piece of tape over it so nothing gets in there dirt
Oh,
wise.
there you go.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Do not want dirt running around in my regulator. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that happened to my brother's paintball gun. He somehow got dirt in his tank and then shot it into his gun, and his gun was just fucked.
That's terrible. Terrible. That's exactly what I'm worried about.
Yeah, dude, this just sounds like a fucking nightmare. But
Yeah.
I mean, after all these years of playing paintball and being in the paintball scene since a young kid, what keeps you coming back to the field?
Dude, that is a good question. Honestly, there's a couple things. One, I like shooting people. It's a very good feeling. That's got to be my favorite thing in the world. Is just the adrenaline and the rush of seeing that paintball like just burst off of somebody. You're like, yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just it feels good. But along with that, like I really enjoy the just the physical aspect of it. Like it is somewhat of an athletic sport, depending on how you're playing and how often you're playing and to what intensity you're playing. But it can meet you like in any way. Like you can be literally 70 years old playing the home bunker, having a great time, or you can be 15 years old playing the one in the snake, crawling around in the mud and have just as much fun. So it's like, I don't know. I just think it's a very, very adaptable sport, and it's a very, very enjoyable sport because of that.
I agree.
yeah, it's a good take. Because a lot of people, it's always good to hear people say it's the community and the people I play with the field with, but it's also a good thing to hear people like. I know you appreciate the community too, but it's just like it's refreshing to hear a different take on what keeps you coming back to the field. So yeah, I appreciate that you sharing that. I want to take a little step back and ask you what your first paintball marker was, if you can remember, and do you still have it?
I don't have it here in Fargo, but it's back home somewhere in a box. I know it's somewhere in a box. I think
Somewhere
I
in a
have it
box.
still. Yeah. But it was a Dye DM4. It was the blue to black fade or black to blue fade. And I bought it off a guy for like $80 at the local field. It was broken. My dad helped me fix it and make it working again. It gave me trouble literally like every other week, but my goodness, it was such a cool marker.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah, those die DMs, doesn't matter which one, were the creme de la creme when they came out, and I can't imagine having one of those and just looking sick as hell and going to the field with one of those.
Oh yeah, yeah. Makes you feel like you are somebody.
Exactly.
You know, it's paintball. Nobody cares.
What you rocking right now? What's your setup right now?
I've got two right now. So I've been rocking most recently the Field 1 Force. Got that
Ooh.
Dragon, that V2.
Hell yeah.
Sucker shoots so good, dude. And then I also have a Dye DSR Plus, which I had been running before I got this. Also shoots great. Both of these guns have given me almost no trouble, which is like that's my biggest selling point for anything paintball marker wise.
Mm-hmm.
If it breaks on me every week and it's hard to maintain, I don't want it.
I think you're the first. Yeah, I was gonna say you're the first person who didn't like that. I think you're the first person that's basically said they don't shoot a PE gun. I know that. Oh my gosh, I can't think of John. John still has a PE, and he's like, man, I fucking love that my CS3. But it's kind of cool to hear that you're not repping what everybody else typically reps in the Field Force 1, and then having a dye gun is it's kind of interesting, and I kind of like the take, because I always wanted to try a dye, and never don't have the funds to obviously get one, but I'll just take my Shocker Arrow for right now. But yeah, that's pretty sweet. Which one do you prefer?
That's a hard question. Right now, the Force, because eye pipes are expensive and I'm tired of buying them for the dye. But they both shoot really good, so it's kind of hard to choose sometimes. I don't know. I feel like the Force has shot a little better, like consistency wise lately. So I've tended to lean more towards that. And it's a little softer on the paint when it comes to like colder weather. It feels like it's not great, not perfect. I'll say that much. Still enough to get on my nerves,
For sure.
but less than my dye does typically whenever it's cold.
So
Gotcha.
then playing down in Florida and playing up in Fargo here, what are some differences that you've noticed from playing down in Florida and up in Fargo?
Yeah. Obviously one is the weather side of things. Just looking at it from a big picture perspective, the
Mhm.
weather is the biggest thing, and then the amount of players is so much smaller here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like the travel to get to play paintball, the amount of people that you find to play paintball is a lot smaller. The travel's longer, so it ends up costing a little bit more, which I think is a little frustrating sometimes. But the community has made it so much better. Like it's so easy to get along with pretty much everybody. Anybody that comes out to Annandale or anybody that makes their way out over here to Fargo or made their way out to Fargo when we still had a field. Just that has been a huge difference because I feel like in Florida, because there's so many people and it's so heavily saturated with competition. I mean, where I live back home, there's a field within an hour and a half of me in every direction except for south because then I'd be on the water. But it is like just there's people everywhere and there's always players at the field and they're always just so good. Like, how are you guys D4? Golly, dude. Go touch grass, bro. Go rank up. But it's I don't know, it's just different. People aren't as friendly, I feel like, as often whenever there's just that highly competitive environment. But then at the same time, if you talk to those same people outside of that environment, they're great. They're super nice, they're super welcoming. But if you're on the other side of the field from them, completely different. Like yeah, completely different for you. Which I think is cool, right? Because it shouldn't be 100% friends all the time if we're competing against each other. But at the same time, it's paintball, guys. This isn't life or death. We're having fun here to a certain extent.
I feel like Trevor. I did that podcast with Trevor. I feel it because he went and lived down in Florida for 1-2 years and played with the Rat Kings down there.
Down at MVPS, yeah.
And he said that a lot. Like, there's a bunch of people. He's basically said the same thing what you said. Is there's a bunch of people down there, but they're not always. They're not. The community is not nearly as nice as they are up here. And I was gonna ask. Fuck. Shit. I had it. It was a fucking good ass question. Randy, do you want to ask a question while I think about it?
Yeah. So then what are some challenges you have faced playing paintball up here in the Midwest?
Yeah. I think one is just finding paintball, finding places to play, people to play. And the biggest one is finding events to play. I have had the hardest time. There are almost no local events that will play D4, at least this past year, 2 years now. Just because there's not enough teams that are coming to play them.
Right.
Even Annandale, they'll have a D4 division and then they'll have 1 or 2 teams set up and they won't have enough to run a tournament, which sucks really bad. And they don't take drop downs, so I can't play.
Right.
So that's been the biggest challenge, honestly. It's just how scarce it is. Like, you just can't find people to play with. You can't find tournaments to play unless you travel a ton of distance and time.
Right.
And that takes time off of work. That takes more money, which I love to do. But it's becoming harder and harder to do so.
Right, yeah. You got to travel 6+ hours or try to find a local tournament, but I mean, good luck. There's very few, and especially ones that are above D5.
Yeah. Yeah, I had some luck probably 2 years ago when I was still playing with unaffiliated. I think it was me and JD and Mason. I think Nick was with us too. We would go down to Tommy Guns to play. We played 2 events there, I believe, a couple years ago, and that was a good time. Just some 3-man round robin play, which was really good. But since then, I have not played a local tournament.
So I know that I hope, I think JT's already said that they're hosting another D4 tournament. I think that's the case. We are gonna. I think Randy and a couple other guys are going to sign up for the D4, so there will be more interest. And I think, it's been a couple of years where the D5 interest has been significant, where it's going to come to the point where the people are ranking up in the D4. And so I would assume and hope that the trend is we're going to see more D4 players signing up for the Annandale tournaments. So I hope that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
And that
certainly hope so.
Leads me into my next the question that I forgot about and now I remembered. So I've heard from you and from other people say like these kids play year round down south. Kids, guys, players, women, everybody, paintballers play year round down south, but they're so good for their level. So like they're D4 and they are like a D3 or D2 player up here. And I'm curious to get your perspective on why do you think that is? Why are obviously they play year round, but why is there a significant gap between our D5 and their D5, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think there's a couple reasons. And the one that makes the most sense in my head is because when they go to a local field and there's so many players who have already been playing for a long time, who are really good and who have been, whether it's they're just old and have been playing paintball forever, or they're in the tournament scene pretty heavy. These kids or these younger players are interacting with them a ton, and they're playing against people that are just better than them all the time, every weekend, and that just makes you better. And the easiest way to say it, like if you play against people that are better than you, even if you're losing all day, if you try to learn something, you're gonna get better with time. And along with that too, because they have that year-round like time span to play, if they do really like the tournament scene and they really want to see themselves get better, they can. They can just go to the field every weekend. They can run drills during the week. If they live near the field, they can set up a bunker in their backyard and shoot literally any day they want, any morning, any afternoon. And I know that because that's literally what I did. And I don't know. I hate that I can't anymore here unless I had some sort of garage setup, but I really do think that's why. Like, I think the people there, because they've been playing for so long, there's so many of them and they play so often, they're just playing against people that are better than them all the time. It raises that level of competition so much.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas
Practice
here,
makes perfect.
yeah, practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. But like, whereas here, like Annandale, cream of the crop is the Warbirds, right?
Mhm.
That's our highest level team, biggest team, and it's what, 12 guys, maybe?
I'm
Yeah,
not
like,
too
and
sure.
so it's hard to, you don't run into much variety, I feel like. Like those guys are good,
Yeah.
but there's no one for them to play against other than maybe Air Assault, but Air Assault barely comes to the field, I feel like.
They've been making their way.
Have they?
Yeah, it's
That's
just
good.
yeah. I feel like yeah. To your point, the competition gets a little stale here, and you get used
Yeah.
to and comfortable against playing the same people, and it's just like okay, yeah, we know what JD's gonna be doing and when he's pushing up. We know what that player is gonna do typically, and it gets a little stale. So I obviously get the more players, the more diversity in plays that you're gonna see, and yeah, I think that leads into my next segue question is what do you think that fields can do or the people at those fields can do to help grow the community into something that can be resemblant of something down south?
That is a good question. In my head, only one thing comes to mind, and I really do think it starts with rec ball. If you're not able to produce a field and an experience for rec ball players that they enjoy, and that they're like, man, I want to come back and do this. One where they're not mixing in with tournament players and just getting the crap beat out of them every time they go, because they'll never come back. But having those like regulars, like younger kids, the rec ball players that are just coming all the time. I think if they really enjoy it and then they start to see that tournament scene start to develop a little bit and they're around it more, you start to grow that community even more, which I feel like Annandale does a pretty good job of that. You'll see rec ball players all the time that are in there and they'll get to watch some of the tournament players play. And then every once in a while, at least from what I've seen, some of those rec ballers that come consistently will try to transition into that tournament scene. Sometimes it's hard to, especially a place like Annandale, Minnesota, because there's not a lot of teams to really join. So they just kind of try to create their own and battle their way up through it. But I really do think it comes down to the rec ball scene. If you don't have that figured out well and have an experience for those players they enjoy, I don't think you can grow the paintball scene at all.
Yeah, I agree. I like the setup that they have at Annandale too, where no matter where you're at that field, you can always see the tournament field and what's going on over there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a great point, actually. Yeah. No matter where you're at, whether you're sitting there on the tables just hanging out, whether you're playing at one of the rec ball fields, you can see the tournament players. You can hear what the guns sound like. You can hear everybody yelling and all that.
Right.
Super cool.
Yeah, and the kids love it too. They see your gun, they think it's super cool. People always say that we look like we're from Halo with our masks on and stuff. People
Oh,
love
it's
it.
so true. They do. They do. Those kids love it. If we could just find a way to get them into that environment without it just sucking the first time as much, I think it would be great.
Yeah.
But even like my experience when I was little, when I was like 12 or I don't remember, 11, doesn't matter. Getting shot 20 times in the side of the body for the first time ever really isn't a great intro into the sport, right?
No.
Yeah, I heard the saying is one bad experience can ruin the experience for 10 people because, if you're playing against a theoretical situation, if you got a bunch of speedballers playing against a bunch of new people in the paintball and they just get lit up, they're not going to want to come back out. That whole team or that whole group of guys or people are not going to want to come back out. And it takes one bad experience to ruin 10. So
It's very true.
It also takes one good experience to make 10 different people want to come back. So it goes in both directions.
It absolutely does. I feel like I've seen that firsthand a few times too. Like some of the better players or some of the more regular players get mixed in with the rentals and they end up on the same team and it's like, well, they're gonna win probably. That other team's not gonna want to play anymore probably. It's just I don't know. Sometimes that sucks. Sometimes that's cool, but sometimes it sucks for the rental players.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I got a theoretical question for you.
All right.
You have your own field at in Fargo. It's got just like a basic speedball field and a couple of rec ball fields, kind of similar to Annandale. You can think of Annandale, but up.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you want at a paintball field that'd be like, this makes my life so much easier at the field? It can be an amenity or a service or anything.
Me personally, batteries. Someone sell batteries. That'd be great because I forget almost every time I go. But I think on a real note, probably, I do think the food is one of the bigger things. If you have a way to provide some kind of food, some kind of drink to keep people energized and want to stay at the field, I think that's good. You can sell more paint that way too. But as soon as somebody's like, I'm hungry, it's time for lunch, and they're out of there, they're not coming back.
Right. They're gonna go eat and be like, let's go home.
Yeah. Tired. Let's go home.
I feel like that's something that JT could improve on. I know he offers basic like power Gatorade water and then pop and some candy bars, but I feel like Annandale's out in the middle of bum frick nowhere, and so like you got to go basically back into the cities to get food. And so I think if he had an option or if he had a food truck come out like he does for the tournament days, I think that would be pretty sweet to have like a food truck out there every once in a while, especially on those busy days.
That would be pretty awesome. I would say that. I would want to come a little bit more if that were there on a more regular basis.
And get Steve cooking.
Oh yeah. Get him on that grill, man. Get him on that grill.
It's so funny, but awesome.
That food always smells so good.
I know.
You ever done one of the Battle of the Beefs?
Yeah, I did it. Not this past year, but the year before.
How'd that turn out for you?
We ended up getting third. Lost to Logan. Always Logan, man.
Logan Anderson.
Logan.
Yeah, him and then one of my buddies got paired up. Crazy team, dude. But it was fun. Got a nice, what did I get? I think I got chicken. They got a nice steak. I'd say that chicken was pretty good.
I think first place gets steak. Second place gets like pork chops. And then third place gets chicken and everybody else gets hot dogs.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right.
That's still great though, dude. It's like a nice little tournament. You just play for fun, and then no matter what, you're getting food afterwards. Like just fresh cooked, charcoal grilled food. It's amazing.
It's so good too. Every time it's so good.
Oh, did you? So when you guys took third place at World Cup, I think it was 3-man. Were you there?
Yeah, actually, we took fourth. It was 5-man. It was I think it was last year. Yeah.
You want to tell us about that whole experience going down there and, taking, we're a team from Minnesota. No one's expecting or Minnesota, North Dakota, a team from up north going down to World Cup and freaking getting fourth place at a World Cup is outlandish, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it was super fun, right? So we ended up, because we had that indoor field, leading up to World Cup, we practiced a ton. So we were just playing paintball all the time. So we felt pretty well oiled. We were working well as a team by then. And we got to that event. Luckily for me, the snake was like perfect for like an aggressive play style.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent my entire weekend in the snake, in the one, crawling down and shooting people in the back, and I was having a blast doing so.
Hell yeah.
But we melded so well as a team because we had played so much leading up to it that it felt like some of the other teams we played hadn't done that, or just really didn't have much communication, and so they just kind of fell apart as soon as they lose their one player, they lose somebody who's hanging out too far. Their team and their communication just crumbled, and then you just pick them apart, right? Because having played a lot, you get to the point where you get more comfortable with your gunfighting skills. If you're playing against newer players, a lot of times you have an advantage there. So I think that helped me, at least on the snake side, playing against some of the younger guys, because a lot of times those teams will throw their youngest player or their fastest player over into the snake. And he may not be the most experienced sometimes. So I had a lot of really fun games where I just would shoot somebody and end up on the other end of the field, shooting people in the back.
Hell yeah.
So our prelim games we just cruised through everybody, steamrolled people. We lost one to one of the teams, and then we ended up beating them again. What do you say? We lost to one, and then we beat them again in the semifinals, quarterfinals. I don't even remember how it works. I think we ended up beating them again. And then we made it to the semifinals. We were trying to make our way to play for first and second, and we got paired up against PB Gateway 2, which is a team out of Paintball Fit.
Okay.
Oh my god.
And I will say, those guys have practiced quite a bit. So it was like the complete opposite of our prelim experience. Their lanes were on point. They shot me off the break at least once, which I had not got shot all day until then.
That's crazy.
And then they were just a bunch of young kids, real small, real fast, and really great gunfighters. They just killed us.
Damn.
They killed us. Yeah. So we got knocked down to play for third and fourth, and go figure, we played another team of young kids, and the same thing happened pretty much. We did not learn from our mistakes.
Hey,
Basically.
you guys still did pretty well, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
We had a great time.
That's awesome. And I hope that more teams from the up north, Midwest can definitely represent our region and tell people, hey, like, we play paintball up here. You know, it's not just a snow and cruddy area. We can bring competition towards these events, and I appreciate that whenever the Warbirds, AAF, and Havoc, whenever they go down, they always do something good. Especially the Hostile Ground. I know they went to like a World Cup recently, and they didn't do too bad either. So I'm very happy that the teams that we have around us are doing well in these events. And I want to ask you, what do you think allows you to have that type of success at World Cup? Is playing points, or what do you do during practice that translates to your success out on the field down south?
That is an interesting question, actually. I think it's easy to want to just play points, right? And just get a bunch of reps on a field as you prep for that event. And I think there is some value to that, and I think it's important to do so. But if you're not doing it with intention, then I think it's a waste of your time, right? So if you're not, at the very least, if you're just going to play points, if you're not at least running plays that you're intending to use for the event, or at least trying new plays and kind of testing them out, see kind of how it would work, how you would pair up against it. A lot of times what we'll do if we are playing points out of practice is we'll split our team up into usually teams of 3 because we don't have a ton of guys typically. But if we can get 5s, we will run, I don't remember what we call the drill at all. But basically one team has a group of plays, right, that they're going to run, and the other team knows them. So one team has to run a certain play. They have to run a set amount of them, and the other team has to figure out how to beat it, and they run their own play. So one team knows what's going on, and they get to pick and choose what they do. One team does not know what the other team's going to do, and they have to do the play that's given to them. So it almost makes you critically think before you're playing on how to kind of break down how the other team is playing and what they're going to do, how you can maybe counter it if you can survive the breakout. And then when the game starts, can you put that play into action, or are you just going to fall apart and sit in your primary bunkers, right? So I think honestly that drill in and of itself helped us a ton on just like thinking about what we're doing. And we do a lot of communication drills too. We spend a lot of time doing those types of things. Working on, we do a little bit of gunfighting work, but that's mostly stuff you should be doing on your own anyway. So maybe we'll start practice with that, but only spend a little bit of time there, and then spend the rest of it on communication and situationals, and then the play calling types of things like I just talked about, are kind of the bigger picture things. And I do think spending time doing that over just playing points just to play them makes you like 200 times more prepared for an event.
Okay.
Over the layout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have your layout right, and then you have your calls and all that set up, and then you come up with a bunch of plays as a team, as two separate teams technically. You split them up, and then it forces you to think about it. Forces you to defend your play or defend what you're doing, and still try to win against a team you don't know what's happening. So that's just like a real game, right? And then the other version of it is like, okay, if we do figure out a tendency for a team, or we scout them and they've been doing the same play a lot, how do we break that down and beat it? Which I think was super cool. We played, I didn't play, I coached, but I helped with one of the 3-man events at Annandale this summer, I think. And we ended up winning because of that, because we were scouting and determining what people's initial plays were, and there were some teams that were literally running the same thing every single point. It's like, this is a free kill if we can shoot our lane right, and then we can win a 3v2, or we should win a 3v2.
Right.
Yeah, I think it made me laugh for a second, because were you coaching when you guys were playing like AAF and like it was like in the finals, and then one of their guys just completely went before the buzzer?
Yeah,
And
that is the craziest thing ever, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't know what happened, because it was 1-1, right? It was 1v, I think it was 1, and yeah, the score was 1-1. So it was that point determined the game, and they were having some buzzer issues throughout the day, I believe. So it was a little iffy, and he went like 4 seconds early, shot his gun out to the corner almost, and then they got a penalty, I think, because of that.
Yeah, he got pulled, and then they pulled somebody else, and then you guys like shot the last guy almost out immediately. The funny thing is that guy who started early didn't even shoot any of you guys.
No, they were just standing there at the box. We're like, wait, someone's shooting at us. What's going on?
That's hilarious.
Wild, absolutely wild.
My only thought is that guy probably must have heard the buzzer go to start the point, because like I can't see any other world where it's like, how did that guy think that the game started?
Yeah, I don't know. I know there was some buzzer issues throughout the day, so I think that's why, like you said, which is so unfortunate, because I was really looking forward to seeing how that point played out, because we had drawn up a play to see if we could counter theirs, because they were one of the teams that were running the same play all day, but it was working, so I would not have changed it if I were them either. So we were gonna try something different and see if we could counter it, and then that happened, and we never got to see if that were to work or not.
The odds were still in your favor.
Yeah, it's cool to win an event, but like not really the way you want to win, right? Just kind of handed to you.
I was gonna ask, how do you go on? Like, this is probably a loaded question, but how do you, if you can answer it, how do you go on to, you recognize a team is doing a certain play? How do you recognize how to stop it and what plays to run?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think I am the most equipped to answer that, but I will give you my answer, and I would take it with a grain of salt. But from what we typically do, or from what I was doing when I was somewhat coaching, we would take a look at each team, and as they played, you kind of start to develop what you think their tendencies are, or what you think their initial breakout's going to be, right? At the very, very least, we can boil it down to that. If we know they're sending a guy far to the snake and the other two guys are staying in the pocket, then our gun should be on the snake guy, because he's the only one coming out of the pocket, the only one we even have a chance of shooting for the most part. So even just like keeping it as simple as that was helpful. Just like, where are we putting our guns? Are we just randomly throwing them out there? Or are we putting our gun in a space where we know somebody's going to run, or we know has a pretty high likelihood that he's going to run through it?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think it kind of, the biggest picture of it is it's kind of a probability game where you're determining how likely somebody is going to make that move or going to go somewhere or do this or do that. And you're trying to base your play off of that. Like, where do we want to put our gun? And then you can also see where they're shooting, what gaps they're shooting for, and you can adjust your runners accordingly. So if they've been shooting the snake gap, or they've been having success shooting some of the other team's runners, then maybe you change your route, or you send a guy a different way, or you send a guy at the middle instead. Just kind of change up their success so they don't have the ability to shoot anybody off the break,
Right.
at the very least.
Right.
Yeah, I like that answer, because I'm starting to I am the coach, and I'm still fairly new to paintball, and so being a coach is not in that position the best situation to be in. So I appreciate any type of recommendations on what to do, because especially if we're going EXL, I know we're practicing for this and we're gonna do it right, but to have a game plan going into the season and being prepared for it, it's gonna be a hell of a lot easier when you get there, to execute on those things, and then just to be not in the know. So I appreciate you giving me those little tips and pointers.
For sure. And I'm kind of in the same boat as you, so I am not a dedicated coach at all. I've coached literally once or twice. So, but even that little bit is helpful, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's helpful for not only like a coach to notice things like that and to come up with plays, but also a good thing for players to watch and keep track of. Because when you get into a situation where, you might be down bodies, and you really got to think of, okay, I've watched these guys play a couple points. What are they most likely to do? If I'm in the snake and they're strong in the snake, am I going to get run down in the snake first? Or are they going to push down the middle or Dorito side first? Like, just knowing that as a player while playing could be very crucial to winning that point.
For sure. Hugely valuable to be able to, if you can be able to notice that kind of stuff and think about what you're doing on the paintball field, I think it makes you such a better player. Because it's so easy to just, like, as soon as the buzzer goes off, it's just tunnel vision. Like, okay, I'm in the snake. Okay, I don't remember what I'm going to do, what I was supposed to do. I'm just going to sit here at the snake 3 and look across field and hope somebody comes through my gap, even though this is definitely not the gap I'm supposed to be shooting. But, I'm doing something at least.
Right.
Or you just get caught up, like, in the gunfight down the wire, and you're just like, you forget what you're supposed to be doing. It's just, I don't know. It's so easy to do that.
Right.
But if you come from it from your point of view, where you're thinking about what the other team's going to do, what they've been doing, and you can actually still think about that when the game starts, oh my goodness, the game gets way easier, because everybody's not just doing a bunch of random stuff in front of you. You kind of know what's going on.
Right. Kind of like putting into perspective of a video game. Like, when you play the same video game, same first person shooter over and over, like, you get a very good general idea of what people are going to be doing, where they're going to be going, so if you can kind of implement that into paintball, your knowledge of what you're going to do compared to what they're going to do is going to be incredibly different.
That is actually a really, really good way to think about it. I didn't think about that. It kind of is the same thing, right? It's paintball, the layout's different every time, but the general idea is always the same, and people are going to do pretty much the same things on a general basis when it comes to the layout. They're going to send somebody wide, they're going to send somebody up the snake or down the Doritos. And maybe somebody in the middle every once in a while, right?
Right, especially depending on that player's play style. So if you can really pay attention to, like, stronger players on teams, pay attention to their play styles and understand how they play, then no matter what side of the field you catch them on, you can kind of understand what they're going to do.
Exactly. Yeah, that's huge. I think it's easy to do that too at Annandale, because you know everybody.
Right.
Oh yeah. That's what I was saying. It gets stale, so you know what people are doing, and it's not a bad thing. It's just when you want to learn something, it's probably not always the best situation. I wanted to ask, so are you you're typically the one on the snake side, correct?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. When you get in the snake, are you the type of person that goes right to the 50, or do you typically make progress here and there and feel it out?
I think that heavily depends on how the layout is and kind of how it's playing for me. I enjoy both. Obviously, I want to go down and just be at the 50 or beyond the 50 and just be up in people's faces, but sometimes it just does not work, or that does not make any sense, depending on what the layout looks like. So I try to have a good understanding of how the field should play in my head and base that off of that. But if it's just like a fun day where I'm just going out to the field, you'll probably find me closer to the middle off the break, far up as I can get.
Right.
Just see what happens. But
It's
I don't
also
know.
that's interesting because I want to ask, when you start getting into gun battles in the snake, are you typically fighting with this other snake player, or are you always shooting cross field?
Okay.
I mean, it's a very dependent question, but
It is, yeah. I really do tend to not gunfight down the wire as often if I can avoid it. Just because I know, one, I kind of hate gunfighting on my knees and on my stomach. So
Yeah.
I just don't want to sometimes, which is a poor excuse. But I also feel like my job in the snake is a lot easier if I can just look across field and get a kill and then worry about the guy in the snake with me. Again, it kind of depends on the layout and kind of who you're playing against. But if there's a guy who I know is going to hang out at the snake one, right, and he's just going to sit there and just be there for a bit, then I know I don't have to really gunfight him down the wire as much. And if he is on the wire, then I can get some kills on the inside maybe while he's doing that. I don't really need to fight him, right? He's not a direct threat to me yet.
Right.
So typically in my head, it makes more sense for me to try to work my way up the snake on my own or with the guy behind me, keeping the wire down or keeping the guy in, and then me focusing on people I can shoot across the field who aren't looking for me typically, or maybe more focused on what's in front of them. I think it's just a little easier to catch people off guard that way. Whereas the guy in the snake, he knows you're there. He knows you're somewhere in there, right? He may not know exactly which segment, but as soon as you pop out or he sees your shadow, he knows where you're at.
Yeah.
So either he's going to hang out there on the wire and just wait for you, or he's going to do the same thing like I just said and just kind of like, well, I'm not going to worry about him too much. The guy in the corner behind me is going to keep him under wraps, or he should be doing that, and I can focus on my game in the snake across the field.
Right.
You seen the video of the quad, the new bunker for this year, the quad?
Yeah.
Wing? The guy Superman diving over the top and shooting the one guy.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
I was like, that's another way to play the snake.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it that way. That's even cooler.
Just
That was
Supermaning.
awesome. Yeah, it was so freaking awesome and funny at the same time.
I wish. I can't wait for JT to get one of those just so we can mess around with it. That'd be fun.
Well, supposedly I don't know if this is top secret information, but I heard somewhere down the grapevine that he's got the 2026 NXL bunkers, and then they sent him the quad wing or the quad wedge or whatever you want to call that thing.
Sweet. I had heard that as well. I heard that he had ordered them, but they weren't there yet or something like that.
It's nice to know that he's going to have that. I don't know if Randy has other questions, but want to say that when we ask this last question later, what's the most important thing before you go out in the field to remember before you go out in the field?
Ooh, I could probably give you a decent answer.
I want to ask you that without having, because what we do to exit the interview, this podcast is you just say, just fucking play. But I actually want to ask you that question and get an actual response than rather than just fucking play.
Yeah. So I got two answers. One, do I need to pee? Because I think that's like every single time I walk up to the box.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh man. Beyond that, probably real answer. Why is my heart rate so fast for the first point of the day? And then once that's over, I'm good.
Nice.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, not a whole lot of thoughts going on in my brain typically.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm thinking about 1,001 things. My heart's racing. I get those pregame jitters.
Oh,
Freaking
yeah.
hate that feeling, man. I was a goalie in high school. Don't look like it, but I was a goalie in hockey goalie in high school, and I always got those game jitters, and it's just like I could never shake those, and I always got them, and I hated it. And it happens to me on the field too. And it's just like, man, I wish these things would just go away. Like I've been playing paintball for 2-3 years now. It would go away.
Yeah, the first point of the day, it never goes away. I don't know why. I've been playing for 6 years now consistently, and same thing every time. Like, why am I nervous? I know what's about to happen. It's the same thing every time.
Yeah, I always get
I'm gonna get-
butterflies on my way to the field, but once I get there, I'm over it.
There you go. There you go. Yours is just a little earlier in the day.
Yeah. It's like
Get
it's some
another
energy
shit
in me.
from driving.
Some
Get-
food.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Oh man. Actually, I had something just pop in my head a second ago that I should have mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
For one of your last questions, one of your earlier questions, when we were talking about kind of why we feel like players down south tend to be better than their division.
Mhm.
And actually, part of it, I think, is two things that I missed. One is the coaching side of things. There's a lot more access to that. Some older players down there that are willing to coach. And then two, you run into like higher division players or even professional players at fields a lot. Like the field, one of the fields closest to me that I play at decently regularly, Steven O'Mara plays there most of the time whenever they're not having like true practices, I think.
Mhm.
So I've run into him a few times
Yeah.
out there, and he helped coach the local team there for a while. So pretty cool. And then Cyrus Garinger as well. He's out of that field, or he was out of that field before he moved to Fit.
Damn.
It's kind of crazy because it's like these D5 and D4 players from the Rat Kings, they got Keith Brown and the Edwards brothers hanging out with them. And it's just like, I
Right?
wish I could have that.
You could just move somewhere else.
And it's just like, obviously, like they're all buddy, and it's not like, they'll give out pointers, but they're not actually coaching them. But like, it's just like, it makes a world of a difference if you surround yourself with like professionals who play paintball rather than like other people. Like, it's kind of sad to say, but like, it makes a whole world of a difference if you're hanging out with professional semi-pros than just other D4, D5 players.
Right.
Very true. Very, very true. I will say it's a whole other level of skill and commitment competition that those guys provide.
Yeah.
So it's super cool to learn from it. Most of the learning I got from that was just me getting shot in the face. So other than that, I didn't learn much. But
Are you guys going to be doing the Greenspan clinic at Annandale this year?
I am not. Most of the bees are. My girlfriend graduates that day, so I would probably not be there for that.
Okay.
I would not be there for that, actually. I can answer that.
I asked JT who was going to that, and it's the Warbirds,
Yep.
Valhalla, Air Salt Factory, and Air Salt Factory 2.
Oh, they have two lines going?
Yes, and I want to mention that JT is trying to open up 2 more slots, one of them being for us.
I did hear that. We had talked to him a little bit about it too. So I think it's
Okay.
probably us and you guys.
Yes, if that was the case, that would be awesome if
Oh,
we could
yeah.
do that. Even though you won't be there, I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
be
I
awesome
cannot
to
believe
have
I'm
you all
missing
down.
it. But
Yeah, how
it
dare
was
you?
such a good time.
how dare you?
I can't miss it. No, I hate that I miss it. I literally learned so much last year from having Ryan there, just to like, one, he takes videos of you the entire time. So like by the end of it, you have a Dropbox like gallery full of videos of yourself with commentary from him directly, like on what you could do, what you should be doing. You're an idiot, don't do that. I don't think a few of those as well. But like huge, like to learn from. One, because you get it right there in the moment from him, and then two, you can go back and watch yourself and be like, man, dude, I am an idiot. What was I doing?
Or if he did
It's good
something cool,
reflection.
he'd be like, Greenspan is like, oh, that was a cool move.
Yeah. He's like, hey,
You
good
get a
job.
pro-
Like,
you get a pro complimenting you.
It's like I taught him that.
Yeah.
I taught him that.
yeah. He learned that from me.
He's taking all your credit.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of right. If that would happen.
Yeah.
He spends the whole weekend coaching you, and you do something right, it might have something to do with it.
Yeah, probably. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard this story, Kenan, but I went to the Greenspan clinic 2-3 years ago. It was an individual one. I don't think they did a team one, but it was a 2-day event. And I'm a big guy, and so I struggled with the running part at the beginning. It wasn't too bad, and then we got into 2-on-2s. So I wasn't really like that much working out, but I got to a point where we were playing a 2-on-2, and they brought the banana ball, or the dynasty banana ball, to this event. So you were shooting the banana ball.
Yeah.
And we were doing this 2-on-2 event drill, and I got shot in the mouth. And I got that banana all over my mouth and nose, and I was like, I gotta puke. So I started walking off the field, I'm like, I gotta go down. And I'm just like, I'm walking, and then I just started throwing up.
Oh no.
I throw up all over my gear. Ryan like shuts the drill down, comes over, jogs, he's like, are you okay? And then he I don't know why, but he was like, your throw up is clear, you're fine. He was like insinuating that I wasn't throwing up food or anything. I don't know why that comment stuck with me, but he's like, oh, you're good, your throw up's fine, you're good, just go get some water. I was like, I just fucking threw up all over my shit. I don't want to continue playing. I literally took the L, packed all my stuff up, left, and didn't come back the next day. I was so
My
embarrassed.
goodness. I did not know that.
Oh, that's a great way to leave an impression, though.
Yeah, dude.
Ryan's gonna come back. Weren't you that fucking
Were you that fucker that threw up on himself and didn't come back?
Yeah, then left. That's so funny.
Yeah, no, it was so embarrassing, man.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, bro. It happens.
Yeah,
Random
man.
stuff like that always happens, dude.
Makes for a good story, too.
Yeah, it does. It does make for a good story.
That's awesome.
Hopefully I
just
got
get to
some
come
better
back.
stories. Not
Yeah, you
that
get to come
one.
back and make new ones.
No,
Hopefully not
Ryan is such a
puking
nice
ones.
guy. Ryan
He
such a
is, yeah.
nice guy.
A really chill guy. Very, very, very knowledgeable. I mean, he's been playing paintball for a million years. He's like, what is he, like 90?
90, damn.
Yeah. He won his first World Cup when I was literally less than 1 year old, so he's got to be somewhere up there.
Dang, man.
It's close.
Yeah, because I don't know if any of y'all know it, but he told only a couple of guys that we were talking with. His parents live basically right near Annandale.
Really?
Yeah, so I think they live on Lake Independence. Don't quote me on that, but
Wow, I did not know that.
yeah. So he says he comes back to Minnesota every so often, and he loves playing it or going to Annandale and doing a clinic at Annandale because his parents are right there.
That's really cool. I always wondered kind of why he chose to come all the way out to Minnesota for it. So that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Now you know.
I think we'd get
That
more
makes way more
traction,
sense.
some more motion out
Yeah,
here.
yeah, dude, we get for sure. Oh,
But yeah.
that's awesome.
But I want to say thank you for coming on and talking for us. I know in over an hour, talking during a work night is not always the easiest thing to do, but we appreciate you coming on and telling your story, sharing those experiences with us, and we really do appreciate you jumping on with us. So thank you.
Yeah, man, it's
For
been
sure,
a
dude.
blast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was so much fun. I didn't realize I've never done something like this, so it's fun. I like talking, so if you don't stop me, I'd talk for the next 3 hours probably.
We love it. We so appreciative and thankful to have people like you in our community. So thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great time. I enjoy every minute of being out there at Annandale with you guys, so I was happy to be on here.
Awesome.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah. Last question. What's the most important thing to remember before going out onto the field?
Just fucking play, dude.